This program was made possible in part by
Family traditions are never more important than when families gather around the dinner table to celebrate special occasions. Farm families of Mississippi share the bounty of the harvest with families throughout the state and even the nation. Chances are that your gatherings include delicious sweet corn, baked sweet potatoes, and a rich golden pecan pie. Buy Mississippi-grown products. It's good for your family and it's good for Mississippi. The Farm Families of Mississippi.
Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table. Fresh, local, healthy. Information available at dmr.ms.gov.
Hi, I'm Chef Rob Stinson, and this is Fit to Eat, a new series about eating healthy and living better. African peanut stew has a great symphony of flavors like gumbo from New Orleans. Today I'm making it with cashews instead of peanuts because the cashews help to lower LDL cholesterol, that's the bad cholesterol. I love cooking this style of food. Creole food is hugely influenced by the African heritage of the South. And when you look at they call it sometimes ground nut stew or peanut stew, it's basically a similar base as gumbo, where people came into the South and decided, well, we're going to make our stew, but let's give it the twist of what's in the local area. Hence, a lot of seafood got added into gumbos, and it became kind of the Creole gumbo flair. So this has really got some great vegetarian value. There's nothing in this. I'm actually using a little vegetable stock, apple juice, and tomato juice as the base. So lots of details on this recipe, so you can go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, that's me, and you can get this recipe. So let's go ahead and get started initially here. We're going to take a large saucepan because you can see everything on the side over here is where we're going to go. And I want to just kind of take a look at what we're starting with. Beautiful fresh cabbage, okay, already chopped. Good local sweet potatoes. Any of you out there that don't know it, the sweet potato capital of the world, Vardaman, Mississippi. Shop local. You can get almost all of this at your local store or farmer's market. But what I love about this is it's got such great flavors. And where we're going to start, some beautiful diced onions and garlic. Got to have a little garlic in my world. So we use about 2 ounces of oil, say about 2 tablespoons. We're going to put that in the bottom, and where we're going with this is to cook the onions till they're about translucent. Translucent means you can really see through them to a degree. Pan's got a nice temperature already. And add our garlic in. And as we're doing this, you're going to see, easiest way is to kind of shake that and stir it as we go. Now, let's go in. The longest cooking item of everything here are the sweet potatoes. So they go in there, and sometimes I've actually seen people cook those and parboil them ahead if they're in a hurry to make this. They'll be great in this dish. And you know, interesting, a dear friend of mine, a 4th generation Creole chef from New Orleans, is where I got this recipe. And it was his input to me of how this is so similar in nature to what gumbo kind of turned into as it went. And as is true with any gumbo recipes, there's a million different versions. So none of them are wrong, none of them are right. This is basically kind of taking a classic African sauce and turning it into where we're going to go, which has got a little unique twist when we look at the okra. And when I saw okra in this years ago, it obviously made me think of gumbo. All right, our cabbage goes right in. We're going to move some of this off to the side. Now we're going to take and look at the juices that we've got. Got beautiful tomato in the center, apple on the right, and our vegetable stock on the left. And if you go at some point when you're interested to find out how to make stock, we'll actually have that at mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. And it's easy to make your own stocks. And the nice part about that, you can do them with no salt. This is no salt. So we go into adding all of our juice. And you notice it brings the temperature down a hair. Let's go ahead and move these out of our way. Going to give that a little stir. And I tell you what, the colors in it are fantastic already. But we've got to give it a little pep of flavor. So the little pep of flavor comes in with cayenne pepper, ground red pepper, real prevalent in the African cooking. And we've actually got in here a little bit of ground ginger. And I'm going to take a second and kind of show you, add it in a little bit later, how we can do some fresh ground ginger. It is so much better than using that little packaged dry product, and we'll actually get into that a little bit later. Now we're going to add in half of our cilantro. Wonderful, wonderful fresh herb. Has such a great aromatic quality. And our fresh chopped tomatoes. Then we're going to go ahead and give this another stir. And we're going to let this simmer on high heat till we actually get it up to a boil. And the colors in this are just fantastic. I can already get that aromatic quality, too, of what's inside. And you're saying, Peanut, well, here's the twist. Here's the twist to do something, have a little fun. This is actually a fat-free, low-sodium peanut butter. And a lot of the farmers markets are carrying them. You can find them at some of your superstores. And this now turns it into even a little healthier twist than adding in all of the peanuts that you normally would have. So we're going to actually stir that in so it's uniform in to that stew base. And we've gotten it all off the spoon and mixed it thoroughly. Very important you don't let that kind of get in globs inside, because it'll cook at a different rate that way. So right now, we're going to let this come up to a simmer, and it looks awesome. It already has a wonderful aroma. So I think we've moved along pretty well. Now the trick that we're going to do down the road is we're going to take some okra to pull out everything we need for it. And this okra, we're going to actually take and bake, but we're going to bread it. Now, it could go directly in. That's the classic version. I thought it might be kind of fun to do a little version where we have a baked, healthy version of our okra. So, where are we going to go with this? Take our egg, and we're going to mix it and use just the white so it's even healthier. Then we're going to take and put together a batter mix, and this is really healthy and gluten-free. All right, whole wheat breadcrumbs and soy flour. They mix really well together. They make a really nice coating, almost as if you're using, say, an Italian-style breadcrumb. So I love that idea. Now we're putting in a little garlic powder, a little onion powder, a little white pepper, and a little cayenne pepper. And on the cayenne pepper, it's a little pinch, all right? But wonderful flavors. And I can already see, I can hear that stew, and it's doing great because it's already simmering well. Now we're going to mix these evenly. Has great color. After we've got the dry mixed, you can go in and kind of mix up the egg white. And we're going to throw all of these little okra pieces, and we're going to do about half of them, about 8 pieces, because they're so light. And as you notice, I've actually cored them What you're looking at down below, these have had the seeds and all removed, and they cook a little bit healthier that way, not quite as much oil involved. So let's go ahead, pull these out, and then we're going to dredge them into the flour. And this, again, a gluten-free version. Why? There's so many people out there that are finding out that they have reaction to gluten, that gluten-free is becoming much more mainstream than it ever was before. And it's a healthier version. You can get the details of this recipe at mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. And now I'm going to show you another little trick is when you finish these, we're going to actually go, hang on one second here, and grab a little zero-fat pan spray. Spray our pan with that zero-fat pan spray, and then take each one of these little breaded okras, and they come out so pretty this way. Turn them down so they'll brown on top. And you know, I know you may not hear it, but I do. I'm going to turn the temperature down on our stew a hair. Give it a quick stir while we're here. And it's coming along great. This is a lot more than you'll need for 2 people. It makes about 8 portions, what we're doing. So now let's take these beautiful little light breaded okra, which we've fixed. And here's the trick. I call it the troca, as the Italian chef that I used to train with did. You're going to spray them on top with a little of the pan spray. What does that do? It'll give it a crispness when they bake, and it'll help them brown. All right? So we're going to head over to the oven, which I've taken the liberty of turning on. And that oven is heated to 450 degrees. Put it near the top and let that go. While we're over here, we'll do a little cleaning. Whenever you bread your product, you're going to notice that it'll end up on your hands to a degree, and that's not a problem. Do a little bit of housekeeping here and remove our breading. Then we're going to get ready and have a little bit of fun with some plantains. Everybody, it's like, wow, it looks like a banana. It's actually a different animal altogether. We're going to cut it open at this end. You peel it very similar, but we're going to slice it right down the middle. And it makes just a beautiful, as you pop it out, much meatier than a banana, obviously. Look at that. Isn't that great? And I tell you, it's a little bit harder to find. If you can't find a plantain, you can use banana for this. But in really talking with Leon in New Orleans, this is really kind of his heritage, his comment to me, far better to use plantains. They're meatier. It's more of a vegetable side almost than a fruit side because they have a hardiness to them. And what we're going to do with those is take that same zero-fat pan spray and lightly sear them in a pan so that they're going to become the side dish of this beautiful stew, which is doing great, by the way. Got to keep stirring it. You do not want to let this stick on the bottom. And as I'm looking at how it's coming, the color of the base has changed, and all of the vibrant green and reds are standing out now. And I tell you what, the aroma of it is just incredible. So we get our pan hot. We're going to do the same pan spray. And then we're going to actually do the same on the plantains so they won't stick when we put them in. Going to just carefully and lightly brown them, spray those on top. And you know, finding the right pan spray is worth its weight in gold because it's adding zero fat, 0 calories, be picky about it and find the right one to work with. Some of them have got other additives in there you really don't want, and you don't need that. All right, let's move all of this out of the way because we're getting ready to create something really fun, which is called an atta sauce. Atta sauce is like a ground red chili sauce. Lots of ingredients in this that make it so wonderful. And we're going to take a twist on this one and make it a little healthier than it would normally be made by using this is actually a Greek-style fat-free yogurt. No fat. It's incredibly healthy. Far better than, say, using the mayonnaise base that you might traditionally find. So how do we go from here? We're going to carefully keep an eye over here on the plantains, making sure we don't oversear them. Get that heat down kind of low. And while it is working, we're going to pull a little switcheroo and slide our stew back. Heat up our saute pan in front. And that's where we're going to actually take our red wine, heat it, put our garlic and our onions. So you've got a little diced garlic and onion. This one gets real tricky. Obviously, what you need to do if you're trying to make this one, go to the website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. That's me. And you'll get this recipe in detail because this one's going to be tricky to follow because there's so many different ingredients in it. Let's go ahead and kick the heat up on this hair. Move that around. And what we're waiting on that is to kind of get a nice little rolling bubble. It's going to cook some of the alcohol out of the wine. And then we're going to take the heat away and add in, what do we have? A lot. We've got some beautiful coriander, some cumin, some ground ginger, paprika, cayenne pepper, black pepper, and a little bit of our garlic. So a lot of ingredients are going to make up this flavoring. No one's going to remember all that. That's where the beauty is in the website. And you know, I'd like to show something while we're waiting on that that's really kind of neat. And this is our style of ginger that you can go buy at the store. And that's an actual ginger root. Everybody's like, well, what do you do with it? Slice the edges off. What you're left with is a beautiful piece of fresh ginger that you can actually take and fine chop, and putting that in makes a great addition. And that wine has come up to a nice boil. Let's go ahead and do some checking, guys. All right, we ready? Check our plantains and turn them. Oh, they look great. They've browned perfectly. We're going to turn the heat down on them. And we got to go check in the oven and see how our okra is doing. Let's go ahead at this point. Pull these little devils out, and I'm going to set them right here for now and just kind of let those actually cool here because they look perfect. They look perfect, and the idea was just to crisp them on the edges, and you see, it doesn't take a lot of time. All right, we're back over here having a little bit of fun with the beginning of our atta sauce, and we're going to mix that sauce. Stir up our stew. Wow. The stew looks incredible. Flavors are coming out in it. I get the aroma even more so. Let's turn down our heat here. And what we're going to do is take that, carefully get everything out. We want all that good stuff out of this pan so that we can take the onion and the garlic, which now is infused with that red wine. Now take our stew, put it back up front. Keep it going nice and slowly. And we're ready to kind of add in the flavors here. So let's go ahead and put this right in the center. And as I put in these in, we'll kind of talk a little bit about them. We've got some ground cloves, and these I measure. All right, 1/4 teaspoon of each, so you don't get too much of an overload. That's your cloves, little coriander, cinnamon, paprika, we double up. And everybody asks me when you're working and you've got all this out, how do you know paprika from cayenne pepper? Because boy, if you overdo the cayenne, it's tricky. Cayenne is definitely, and if you look, you can see more orange in color. This is good Spanish paprika, and it makes a big difference. And again, tricky dish. If you can't remember everything in it, go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, and you can get this exact recipe. So we've got in our cayenne, our cinnamon, nutmeg, our ground clove, our garlic, black pepper, and ground ginger. Now, with all of these out of the way, let's move all this. Set that down below and stir all of this up. Makes what they call in Africa kind of a ground red pepper. It's like a ground pepper sauce. And you'll see with this, just like the peanut stew, there's so many different versions of this. Some add into it almost a homemade mayonnaise, some don't. Some like it just this strong. I think it's a little overpowering like this. So what we're going to do now is carefully mix in this and kind of fold it as we go with this 0 fat, 0 salt yogurt, and it makes a wonderful dipping sauce for those plantains. Keep adding it in, and you see we're not putting it all in at once. It's a little warm, and you don't want it to overwhelm that yogurt to where it just simply becomes watery. And now we're ready. Finish up. I love Atta sauce. It's spicy. It adds a great flavor, something you don't see a lot of. And if you look at it, I don't think anyone anywhere has got a recipe that's got all the variety of spice that's in that. So it's a great dish. Now what we're going to do is create a little side cup, if you would. And this will be enough for about 8 people, what I've made. So you'll take this and hold it. It'll stay in the refrigerator quite some time, and it makes for a lot of fun to keep a dish like that where you can use it. Now, we had talked a little bit about grinding the ginger before we got into checking on the okra. And I want to show you this. Anybody can get one of these at the store. If you don't have one, get one that's stainless steel. They don't cost much at all. It's an affordable thing, and you can use it to shred cheeses, to grate fresh herbs. You can do them really fine on this side. I'm going to do it a little bit coarser than the fine, kind of a medium. And I tell you, this goes in to the stew at the tail end. And check the difference. Now, you compare the flavor of this to what you would get from a dry product. You move it off with a nice and narrow knife or spatula. And what are we going to do with this? I can tell you right now, it's going in the stew, because I only put about half as much. And again, it's a shame you can't get the aroma of this, because ginger, when it's fresh grated, has got an incredible aromatic quality, got a lot of great health aspects to eating fresh ginger. And remember, it's such a difference when you can impart some fresh herbs into what you're cooking. So there it is, into that beautiful African peanut stew. So where we're going to head with this, and I tell you what, going to make this look really pretty, because when you're eating healthy, I think it's every bit as important to make sure things look good, as taste good, as are healthy, and that's where we're heading. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to take a nice, generous portion of the stew, set it directly on the plate, and oftentimes, you know, they'll be serving this with rice. If you wanted to add rice in on this, your natural addition would be brown rice, all right? Far healthier and great advantages in using it. So we've got our stew on the plate. We're going to add in our Ada sauce and then put our plantains right here on the side. Look how beautiful they are. And then take and top with a couple pieces of our fried okra. Garnish it with some cilantro. I love the cilantro because of the aromatic quality. Little piece on the Ada sauce is great. Put it all around the sides. And I tell you what, you've got an incredible, healthy, vegetarian dish that absolutely is delicious. And remember, you can find all my recipes with the nutritional information on our website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. I'm Chef Rob Stinson. Thanks for watching Fit to Eat.
This program was made possible in part by
Mississippi family farms sustain a long, proud tradition that has been handed down for generations. A safe, dependable source for food, fiber, and timber, Mississippi family farmers help feed your family as well as their own. Through best practices and modernization, Mississippi farmers continue to be good stewards of our land and water resources, ensuring a reliable, affordable source of food well into the future. The farm families of Mississippi.
Support for Fit to Eat comes from Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table, wild-caught Gulf fresh seafood is fresh, local, and healthy. Information at dmr.ms.gov.